Hello viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel. On my last video, I discussed about the different parts of a heart, how our heart works. So, so in this video, I'm going to explain you about the conduction system, how our heart contract and relax. It's due to our heart muscles. We have different types of heart muscles. That muscles helps the heart to contract and relax. So let's start. So here is the diagram. Our heart has different types of muscles. SA node, sinoatrial node. SA node is sinoatrial node. Intermediate fibers, AV node, bundle of his Purkinje fiber. 5 types of muscle fibers are there. So now where is the location? Look at the diagram. Location of the SA node is here on the atria. These are two atria. This is the right atria, this is left atria, right ventricle, left ventricle. Okay, 4 chambers. So SA node, we often call SA node as a natural pacemaker. Natural pacemaker. It creates stimulation by its own. That's why it's called natural pacemaker. So main stimulation comes from the SA node. The SA node is located here. Then there is the intermediate fibers. Intermediate fibers come from the SA node. It's distributed over the atria. Then there is a AV node. AV node is located at the atrioventricular node, at the middle of the atria and ventricle. That's why it's called atrioventricular node. Then from the atrioventricular node or AV node, a bundle comes towards the ventricle. That bundle is called the bundle of His. Okay. Now this bundle is separated into two parts and creates a bunch. That fibers, the right part, this is the right branch and this is the left branch. These branches are called the Purkinje fibers. Okay. So SA node, intermediate fibers, AV node, bundle of His, and then Purkinje fibers. So when the stimulation comes from the SA node, it distributed over the atria. Then it comes to the AV node. Then AV node pass the stimulation to the bundle of His, and from the bundle of His, it is distributed all over the wall of the ventricle by the Purkinje fiber. That in that way, heart muscle contracts the whole heart. Okay. Now let's see how the conduction is actually going on. Suppose it's our heart and SA node is located here. This is SA node. AV node is here. Okay. Now in resting stage, we all know in our excitable cells like nerve cells and also heart muscle cells. So these cells, whenever their cells are in resting stage, normally we know that the inside of the cell there is a negatively charged, and outside cell there is a positive charge. This situation we find in case of resting stage. Okay, but when the impulse stimulation come, the polarity is changed. It's changed, the cell in inner side positive and outside negative. That change is called the depolarization. That change is called depolarization. So from the resting stage, by the stimulation, cell a charge separation occur throughout the membrane. Inner side become positive and outer side become negative. That is depolarization. We all know that, as I have a video named under action potential. You go through that video, you will be clear about that concept. So now come to the heart. When the SA node creates stimulation, it creates the positivity, it depolarized. When the SA node depolarized, it creates a huge positive ions, and that ions are comes to the two atria by the intermediate fibers, and all the cells of the atria get depolarized. Okay, all the cells of the atria get depolarized. First, SA node creates all the positive ions are created by the SA node, and that ions are coming to the atria, whole cells of the cells of the atria, and then all the cells of the atria get depolarized. But that positive ions that are come on the atria, they are not able to pass to the ventricle because there is a structure, that is the fibrous tissue. There is a fibrous tissue. That fibrous tissue actually acts as an insulator. It does not help the charge to come into the ventricle. So there is a one opening, that is the AV node. Then the impulses come to the AV node. The AV node receives all the signals and it convey that signal to the bundle of His. Now what happened? When these cells are get depolarized, now the stimulation comes to the AV node and a bundle of His. Then there is a fibers called Purkinje fiber. Bundle of His come at the bottom of the ventricle and it separates into two branches, right and left branches. These branches are Purkinje fiber. Then this positive ions also come to that part, and the ventricle cells of the ventricular wall, muscle cells of the ventricular wall, then get depolarized. So when the atria get depolarized, all the cells get positive charged, they contract. Atria get contract, and when the atria get contract, it push the blood to the ventricle. Okay, and a sound then produce when the blood comes from atria to ventricle. A sound produced called lub. First heart sound produced, that is called lub. And then when the ventricle filled with the blood, and simultaneously the impulse also come on the wall of the ventricular portion, then that muscles also contract the ventricular wall, then contract, and by that contraction of the ventricular wall, blood goes out from the left ventricle, it goes to atria, and from the right ventricle it goes to the pulmonary artery. Okay, so here is the stimulation comes and contract the whole heart. If we put all the activity on the graph, then what will be the graph? Let's see. If we put all the activity on the graph, putting time on the x-axis and voltage on the y-axis, then we get that kind of graph. This is called the ECG electrocardiograph, and that machine that helped to draw that graph is called the electrocardiogram. So what happened here? Here our body is plugged by different leads on both of our wrist and also at the left ankle. Then the charged are going throughout the body and by the heart and creates that graph. So what happened? First wave, that is called P wave. It is due to the depolarization of atria. We all know now that what is depolarization of atria. I am showing you the diagram. Here it is. First P wave is due to depolarization of atria. Depolarization of atria means when the stimulation comes from the SA node, it creates the positive charge. Its main wave, the positive charge is spontaneously created by the SA node, and it form a wave of the positive charge, and that waves are go over the two atria, and all the cells of the atria get depolarized. Okay. So that is that creates certainly if the charged is changed on the cells of the heart muscles, it creates a bump, that is P wave. Normally we know that our inside the cell there is a negative charge. If that charge get changed, certainly it get changed, then it creates a bump, and that is P wave. Okay, then QRS complex, that is the depolarization of ventricles. Depolarization of ventricles, but this interval is due to is that because when the charge are not getting get entered into the ventricle by this passage, so that's why there is a 0.4 seconds an interval. That interval is due because of the charge come to the AV node. They are not getting entered by this fibrous connective tissue. Then they come to the AV node. And when they come to the AV node, it comes to the bundle of His, and then depolarization of ventricles occur. Because these Purkinje fibers depolarize all the cells of the ventricles. So that gap is this line, denoting this line. Okay, next QRS complex, and then there is a T wave. QRS complex where depolarization of ventricles and contraction of ventricles. When the cells of the atria depolarized, the atria contract, and when the atria contract, it pushes the blood into the ventricle. Now what happened? Ventricle filled with blood. When the ventricle filled with the blood, it and simultaneously the cells of the ventricular wall also depolarize, then the ventricle contract. Okay, and that contraction is due to the charge separation. When the charge gets changed, suddenly the cells are contracting, and the ventricular wall then contract and push the blood accordingly. This right ventricle to the pulmonary artery and left ventricle to the aorta. Okay, now repolarization of atria occur, and then the T wave is formed. Repolarization means the change when the state again become it negative and the outer side become positive. That normal state, whenever it's retaining its normal state, that is the repolarization, and that is the repolarization of atria. That means atria coming into its normal position, and at that time ventricle relaxes. So T wave denoting that is the repolarization of atria and relaxation of ventricle, that is ventricular diastole, we often say. Contraction of atria called atrial systole, contraction of ventricles called ventricular systole, and relaxation of ventricles, that is ventricular diastole. Okay. So in that way, the impulse conducted throughout the heart, and our heart contract and relax by these muscles, by these impulses. Thank you for watching. Very soon I am coming with new topic, and if you have any subject, any topic recommendation, then definitely inform me in my comment section. Till then, take care. Thank you.